This lemon thyme plant is just absolutely stunning, and it is filling in over here. There's lots of weeds. Look at this though. This is my Climbing America rose, and it's got 4 blooms on it, and these have the most beautiful full coral pink flowers that I just absolutely love, and I cannot wait for these to bloom out. This coreopsis is looking so good. It's all bloomed right now, which is so lovely. And the zinnias haven't come up in this bed super good. There's only a few here and there, but still, I'm glad I planted them. I'll probably try and move some of these around because that's a little close to that plant. There's also a random tomato in here, which is a far cry from zinnias. What is up, you guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. If you are new to this channel, hi, I'm Jonathan Deputy. I garden here in Middle Georgia Zone 8B, and I have been gardening intentionally, is what I would say, since probably about the summer of 2016. And I grew up in a family where we did garden a lot. We gardened like we always, did gardening stuff. My parents were very DIYers. We always had a vegetable garden, plants, flowers, things of that nature. But I did not start gardening intentionally until the summer of 2016 after moving here to Middle Georgia. So it is a lovely evening here, and I thought I would take you all along and show you what the garden is looking like here early on in the season, what I have planted and what I plan on planting, and just kind of show you guys around. So I hope you all enjoy. So we're gonna start in the front here and then work our way to the back. I have a lot more going on back there. We have our strawberry beds over here, and it's been an interesting year. So the last 2 years, these have just been gorgeous. They filled out, they were beautiful and green. And in the last 2 years, we pulled in over 100 pounds of strawberry plants. I weighed them as they came in. And so they have paid for themselves at this point pretty well. However, I have noticed this year they are not coming in super, super heavy. Like last year, I was almost having trouble keeping up with all the strawberry plants, all the strawberries coming in. And this year, it's just like a handful every day. So there are some in here, and they look really good. This variety here is called, I think it's called Chandler. Then we have some Sure Crop, and then down there were the Eversweet, but a lot of those plants died. And I think what a possibility is that we had such a cold year that it killed off a lot of plants. It was abnormally cold here in Georgia. And then another thing that it could be is just the plants are aging. Now, this area, I would blame the weeds for that. They just need to be pulled. That's my fault. But this variety was my favorite, but it did not produce as many, and a lot of the plants died. That was a common issue with this variety, Eversweet. Over here never got filled in with strawberries, so we've planted sweet potatoes, cucumbers, just a whole bunch of different plants in here. And I don't know what we'll put in here this year. You can see a lot of the bottom. So the way that these were constructed is you have 2 basically fence posts is what these are. They're 6 inches tall and 6 feet long, and we put them back to back, and we made boxes that were 4 feet wide and 12 feet long, and then we laid them down. What ended up happening is as these shrunk over time, a gap opened and all the soil spilled out. And so the soil level dropped from, up here, it dropped like 6 inches or 4 inches or something like that. So if I was to construct these again in the future, I would just not put on that second top piece of wood, simply because of the fact of the shrinking and then just losing all of that soil unnecessarily. So, and I think that 6 inches is plenty efficient enough. So that will have to be a project that is visited in the future. I have this little raised bed here that I topped up, and I don't have anything in it at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to put over here just yet. In this back area here, this is right up against the woods, and these pine trees here provide a little bit of shade for this area. So this area gets shade first. So I planted up some lettuce in here. We did some butter crunch and then some red lettuce in here, and we have some peas planted in the back. Oh, there's aphids on that. Ugh, Those are the worst. So anyways, we'll see how those do. I struggle with cool weather crops here. It's just so hot and it's hard to keep up with. And when you plant these, it's too cold and the frost kills it. But then the next week it's 80 degrees. So the weather's a little bipolar, so I kind of struggle with these. So that is why they're back here in this row, to try and kind of protect them from the heat a little bit. We have a random collard green that came up over here. These do wonderful down here. I really wish that this was like one big lettuce plant because lettuce is so good, but the collard greens grow the best. And this one hasn't started to bolt yet, and it's over here in the shade. All the other collards that I have in the sun, they bolted, but this one hasn't gone to seed just yet. I also believe that this variety is top bunching early, I think is what this variety is, based off of the growth habit of this. It looks like a top bunching early collard. The other ones that I had were Georgia Southern collards, and they had just a lower growth habit, so that is what I believe that is. So I just hopped the fence real quick. So we have 20 grow bags and we have 3 varieties of potatoes. We have I believe it's called Mega White Chip, the Red Lasota, and then Yukon Golds down there. And we do have some potato growth. These are the Mega White Chip potatoes. This is a mid-season white potato, and it's just coming through here. And I got these planted just a little later because they did not come in until I think the very beginning, maybe the first week of April, the last week of March. I think it was the first week of April they came in. So I did get those planted a little late for our area, but you know, now is as good as time as any. So I got them in here, and they look pretty. I mean, like I said, nothing's coming up except for that one white chip, but these are 5-gallon grow bags. You can get them off Amazon. I will see if I can find a link for them down below if you want to check those out. But they work pretty good. And I just use straight compost. I did put a little bit of soil acidifier in here because potatoes like soil that is between 5 or 5.5. So I threw a little bit of soil acidifier in here to kind of bring that pH level down a little bit and make those happy potatoes. So back in the garden here, we have the first row, which is full of carrots, and I'm really excited about the carrots. This is probably, in all honesty, one of my new favorite crops to grow. So I have some half-long, I have some tender sweet, I have some scarlet nates in here, I have some little fingers, and I also have this middle row here is rainbow blend, which I'm most excited for because there are red carrots in here. And the red carrots, you can see the foliage has a little bit of purple on it as opposed to like one of these, which does not. And this has a mix of like yellow, red, orange, and white. So really looking forward to that. These are some evening primrose weeds. Look how huge those get. They're just massive weeds. But that is what those are. Their flowers open at night. They grow really well here. It's like one of our weeds, and they're easy to pull. I mean, I'm not complaining. They're easy weed to pull, so I don't mind them, but probably should pull that out. Spend all this time touching it, might as well pull it out. But like, they're just so big. They're so big. Now, on the fence line here, I have Miss Pickler cucumbers planted. On the outside, I don't have anything planted yet. I was going to put, I'm thinking I'm probably going to be putting like peppers and eggplants and things like that over here. And then once we get closer to the opening here, the Heavenly Blue Morning Glories I planted in an earlier video have come up and they are looking so, so good. I have a marigold I planted in here as well. And same thing over here. And then in the front, like when you're walking into the garden as like an entryway, I have zinnias planted on either side. And I also have some of those native petunias, which those are them right there, these things. Look how beautiful I love them. I think they are so pretty and they just come up so well, but they just come up in the most random spots. So not a whole lot going on in this row. This row has some collards and then some garlic. I believe the variety might be called California garlic. And then these rows here are set aside for the tomatoes. So everywhere you see these T-posts in here, we'll run twine is what we'll do. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4s on the other side of those onions. And these are going to have tomatoes on them. This row is going to be determinate varieties. So I did some direct sowing to see how that works out. So I have some Oregon Spring tomatoes. I think I have some what are these called? These are Early Boy Bush tomatoes, and then I have some Martino's Romas in here. I just wanted to see if direct sowing some seeds, if they would do a little better, because my starts are a little scrawny, and I just wanted to see if that would end up working out in my favor. I do have some zinnias on the ends of these rows. That one has Candy Store Cosmos and Native Petunia at the end. And then at the very ends, I have, what do I have at the very ends? I have an orange Cosmos planted at the very ends. And I'll pull these collard greens here out once I'm ready to put my tomatoes in. But what I'm going to do with these spaces is I'm going to run the tomatoes down the center, and then I'm going to plant green beans on either side. So that way, those are good companion plants, and hopefully that'll put nitrogen in the soil for the tomatoes. And I'm just going to plant a ton of green beans because I haven't had the best of luck with those, and I'm hoping that that will kind of, maybe I'll have better luck if I do that. So on this fence line, this is where the morning glories were. I did do a bunch of calendula right here because I wanted to see. I don't know what I'm going to do on that front side of the fence. That's why it's not amended yet. I'm thinking maybe some okra. But these are all calendulas that I've just direct sown. I have some cherry tomatoes in here. I have 6 altogether. I have a pink bumblebee cherry tomato, a black cherry tomato. I have a cherry super sweet 100 hybrid tomato, and then a zinnia, and then that repeats itself all over again down to there. And then I have Genovese sweet basil and dark purple basil planted in the front here with the appropriate spacing. The tomatoes, I spaced those 24 inches apart. And then here down until we get to the hose, I planted Smooth Criminal summer squash, which is a summer squash with a climbing habit. So I did it on the fence, and in the front I have some mammoth dill planted from seed. I wanted like the smaller dill, but we didn't have any of those seeds, so I just went with what we had. Over here, I left this spot empty because the hose goes right here, and I wasn't sure if I should put anything in this little block here. But we have some petite, it's a type of, I can't remember the name. Basically it's a small cantaloupe right here on this fence, and cantaloupe is hit or miss for me, so this variety was recommended for our area, so I planted that in here. And then I also have some Armenian cucumbers planted back here as well. And then all the way down in the front, I planted, I think it was gray zucchini and black beauty zucchini. Okay, I have black beauty and gray zucchini planted in the front here. So yeah, I just wanted to just plant seeds and try and get spaces filled up so they weren't just laying waste. Now this whole back portion here, where there's like lots of weeds and, still a lot of stuff to be done, there are the onions. I have, that's another tomato row. This is where the tomatoes were last year. And basically the plan for all of this is vining crops. So I don't know what that's going to look like because I'm just going to kind of make decisions as I go. But essentially is what's going to happen is all of this is going to be planted with things like butternut squashes, pumpkins, watermelons, cantaloupes, anything like that. I'm going to plant out here. And then out here in the yard, outside of the fencing, we've broken up all of this ground. Now we had the 2 plots, we made them into one, and then we added on this little bit here for sunflowers, so that'll be right behind the chicken coop with flowers. But the corn is going to go out here, and any kind of like leftover, so like if I have to put some pumpkins out here, I'll put some pumpkins out here. I might have to put some beans out here. So this will be corn, sunflowers, and then just kind of whatever I decide to stick out here, like watermelons or something. So that's kind of the plan for this space. Is to put vining crops out here with the corn and sunflowers, and possibly beans or okra, just depending on what I have, what space is available. Over here, I just put this area in. All I did was put some logs down, I put some cardboard, and then I threw compost on top of it. And I have some what are these, loofah gourds planted back here. And then over here, the loofah gourds stop there, and then the rest of the way down are honey nut squashes, and those are a winter squash that are really tiny, but they just taste oh so delicious. So I planted those along this fence. And then from that corner all the way down in the front, coming all the way around, going all the way down to there is a bunch of crookneck and straight neck summer squash I just planted all together. And those seeds are pretty old. So I don't know how those will do. I don't know if those seeds, how well they will come up, because we got those, I think, probably the first year we started gardening down here. So that would have been like maybe possibly upwards of, heavens, 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. So those seeds are pretty old. So I just planted all of them because I've been holding on to them, and I've been planting a couple at a time every year, and I'm like, I'm just gonna plant them all, and if they don't come up at all, it's you know, that's okay. I can plant something else, and if they all come up, then great. But I probably won't have 100% germination rate from those, because those are pretty old seeds. And then this whole fence line is planted with peas. I don't remember the name of the variety. It is a drought resistant or a drought tolerant variety. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. And the squash ends there, and then I do not have anything planted in front of those. So I probably need to come up with something to put in here. But once again, we do typically struggle with our peas quite a bit, and so we'll see how we go over this year. This plant looks really good in here, and what I did was I planted them super early, and then we had a freeze, and so I came in here and did a whole bunch of replanting, and the ones I planted early I pinched, and the ones I came in and replanted I did not pinch. So this is one I replanted, and it's very spindly. So in the future we'll probably end up pinching all of our peas, but I just never got around to pinching the ones that I replanted. These are those orange cosmos planted at the back of the tomato rows, and it looks like I've lost one in there, but there's still about 3 in each one. Now, this whole strip of ground here was supposed to be all flowers last year, and we planted a bunch of seeds, but they just didn't come in super good. You can see there's lots of just beautiful zinnias coming up of great size in here. But I need to till this whole thing up and come in and replant. These are actually pumpkins right here. These are pumpkin seeds coming in right here. So we have pumpkins and flowers, and these are some cosmos in here. Those are those candy store cosmos that are just, I just love how pretty those are. Oh, I just love those. And so I'm not really sure what will end up over here. Possibly, I keep saying beans because I have like 3 or 4 different varieties of beans that I'm gonna have to find a place for, and so this might end up with like beans and flowers or something of that nature. But this whole place has to just be tilled up and amended, and we're gonna have to get more compost because we are running short, because I have some areas I still need to amend, and we are running out. And I also have to come back here, and I have to cut the bed back on this side because it completely grew over. I just let it grow over. I couldn't keep up with it, so I just let it go. But yeah. Hey! I did plant around the chicken coop. I planted marigold seeds, so we'll see if those come up. But the girls are doing quite well. They do need to go inside before it gets dark and too chilly out here. I think tonight's gonna get down to 48, which it's gonna be a chillier night. It's been pretty warm, but here they are hanging out in their running around. We had a one of these black ones here, some don't know the context of the situation, other than some tail feathers were missing, and everybody was picking on one of the black ones, and I don't remember which one it was. It might have been that one running there. Not sure. But either way, there was some separation that happened for a couple of days, and now they're all reintroduced and getting along, so that was definitely unexpected. Thank you all so much for tuning in with me today. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. If you want to stick around, you can click that big red subscribe button. And if you never want to miss a brand new upload, then to get notifications, all you got to do is click that bell icon. Always feel free to drop a comment down below. I would love to hear from you all. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in with me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.